Putin was able to negotiate with Prigozhin, but now the president of the Russian Federation has a more serious problem: how to maintain his power.
Undoubtedly, what is happening today in Rostov and Voronezh clearly puts Russia on the brink, I emphasize once again, of civil war, which will be objective, because Putin has lost his sacredness. Putin's environment is ineffective in terms of operational management, and accordingly, a lot of groups in the Russian Federation are ready for protest manifestations.
In addition to the conflict between Prigozhin and the Russian Ministry of Defense, there has long been a war between the Ministry of Defense and the FSB. They say in Ukrainian intelligence. The FSB, like the head of the Wagner PMC, wants to see other people in the military elite, their own people. After information that General Sergei Surovikin allegedly was aware of Prigozhin's preparations for a riot, Putin began a sweep among the military leadership. This is reported by Western and Russian media. There is panic in the presidential administration. They do not exclude the beginning of a civil war, the Important Stories publication writes, citing its sources in the Kremlin.
The long-awaited conflict of elites. Well, it is difficult, of course, to call Prigozhin elite, but nevertheless he is part of Putin's environment. So the long-awaited conflict of the elites is starting to gain momentum and breaking out, which is very good. The moods in Putin's circle are heating up. They are becoming almost open actions. Apparently, after all, Putin is no longer able to pacify all his lackeys.
Movements for the self-determination of peoples and their independence from Moscow are also growing stronger in Russia. For example, online referendums are held on the internet for the independence of Chuvashia, Karelia, Belgorod, Voronezh and Novgorod regions. The civil movement Free Ingria announced in its Telegram channel that it was decided to create a volunteer armed formation, Free Ingria Platoon, as part of the International Legion of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Activists emphasized the possibility of creating an independent state of Ingria within the current administrative boundaries of St. Petersburg and the Leningrad region, territories that Peter the Great forcibly included in the Russian Empire.
The existing Russian Federation is an imperial state, a criminal state. It must be dismantled. The peoples inhabiting it must be freed and must determine their future fate solely from their sovereign preferences.
Analysts are confident that the time has come to prepare for the fact that Putin may lose control of power, the transition of power may be not peaceful, and the borders of Russia in 10-20 years may look completely different on the map. The West should plan its policy on this basis.
The top priority for Washington should remain supporting Kyiv's counteroffensive and helping Ukraine win on the battlefield against Russia. It is in Ukraine where the United States can have the biggest impact on the situation in Russia. A strong, victorious Ukraine is the best bulwark against various scenarios of disorder, violence or disintegration further east. Luke Coffey, senior fellow at Hudson Institute, in an article for Foreign Policy.
Alexei Danilov, secretary of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, said in an interview with Bild that Russia was already fragmented and there is no force capable of holding it together. Reported by Diana Kulesnik, Angelika Brushnevska, UATV News.